Heaven's alarms are sounding. The King of Glory has issued a decree that shakes both earth and sky. A massive blackout is coming. I am not speaking of a mere flicker of lights or a passing storm, but a thick and heavy darkness that will fall upon nations in the physical and in the spiritual. The Lord himself has spoken. Seal your homes, guard your hearts, for the hour approaches when I will pass through the land. This is a warning straight from the throne room, and it demands your ears, your obedience, and your urgency. I hear the Spirit declaring, my people must awaken now, for the night is at the door. In this blackout, every man-made light will fail, every false hope will crumble, and every noisy distraction will be silenced in an instant. There will be no time to run to and fro, no chance to scramble for answers. What you have prepared before the darkness falls will be what you stand with in the hour of shaking. God is saying, move now, my child. Do not delay, do not doubt. This is not just a weather forecast. It is heaven's prophetic bulletin. I see in the Spirit a shadow rolling like a tide over cities, swallowing the streets, quieting the voices of the proud, and pressing the world into stillness. But to the righteous, it will be the covering of the Almighty, a divine shelter, while the outside world reels in confusion. The voice of the Lord roars like thunder over the earth. I will make a separation between those who are mine and those who are not. In the days of Moses, a darkness fell upon Egypt, so thick it could be felt. Yet the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. I tell you now, history is not just a story, it is a prophecy. The same God who shielded his people then is calling his people now to prepare their homes, to anoint their doorframes with his word, to set a guard over their windows, and to keep watch through the night. This is the moment to align with his instruction before the shadow swallows the land. God is not sending this warning to terrify you, but to ready you. He says, my judgment will pass over those who have obeyed my voice. Outside there will be confusion, unrest, and the gnashing of teeth. But inside the dwelling of the obedient, there will be peace, worship, and the presence of the Most High. Just as in the first Passover, the seal will mark the difference between calamity and covering. The time for casual faith has ended. The time for decisive obedience has come. I feel the urgency of the Spirit rising like a flood within me. There is no more room for delay. If you wait until the blackout begins, you have waited too long. The instructions have been given. Prepare your homes, secure your hearts, and let no entrance be left uncovered. The storm of darkness will not knock politely at the door. It will descend suddenly, and those caught unready will be swept away in the tide of fear. God says, I have told you beforehand, so that you may stand when others fall. This is not a small matter, chosen one. This is the separation of light from darkness, of faith from fear, of the faithful from the faithless. The darkness will test every foundation, and only those who have built upon the rock will stand unshaken. As the hour approaches, I can almost hear the silence before the storm. The pause in heaven when the trumpet is lifted to the angel's lips. And when that blast sounds, it will be too late to start building your shelter. You must be inside it already. The Spirit of God is calling out with the voice of many waters. Do not fear the darkness. Fear being found outside my covering. The hour is urgent. The instruction is clear, and the hand of the Lord is stretched out still, urging you into the ark of his presence before the flood of night comes. This is not a time to entertain the whispers of doubt or to linger in the valley of indecision. The line is being drawn, the seal is being prepared, and the time to move is now. I saw it in the spirit, a horizon swallowed whole by a wave of shadow, advancing without hesitation, rolling over mountains, cities, and villages alike. It was not a shadow of a cloud, nor the onset of a storm, but a blanket of darkness sent with purpose from the hand of God. The voice of the Lord thundered in my spirit, "This is my appointed time. I will silence the noise of men. I will call my people into the inner room, for I am about to move in the inner room. For I am about to move in the inner room. For I am about to move in the inner room. For I am about to move in the inner room. For I am about to move in the inner room. For I am about to move in the inner room. For I am about to move in the inner room. For I am about to move in the inner room." This was no ordinary vision. It was a summons to be ready. The Spirit of God spoke again, and his tone was both fierce and urgent. "Tell my people, the blackout is not coming by accident. It is a decree from heaven." I understood then that this was not just about power grids failing or lamps being snuffed out. It was the turning of a divine key in the timeline of God's dealings with mankind. It is a holy interruption, an unplanned pause in the plans of men, where heaven takes center stage and all else is forced into stillness. I could hear the tremor in the atmosphere, like the moment before a lightning strike, when the air holds its breath. In the vision, I saw households that had prepared, doors sealed, windows covered, lamps lit inside, the sound of whispered prayer filling the rooms. And I saw others caught in chaos, stumbling in confusion as the darkness overtook them. The Lord said, "My warning is mercy. My silence will be judgment." His words rang like fire through my bones. This blackout is a divine signpost pointing to something far greater than the darkness itself. It will be the separating line between those who have been walking with God and those who have been walking in the shadows of compromise. For the faithful, it will be the hour of protection and refining. For the faithless, it will be the hour of reckoning. Heaven is not sending this to destroy the righteous, but to reveal the state of every heart when the light is gone. As I beheld the vision, I realized this was not the first time God used darkness as a divine act. In Egypt, the plague of darkness came not as an afterthought, but as a strategic strike in the plan of deliverance. It humbled the oppressor and exalted the people of God. In the same way, this coming blackout is not random. It is precision warfare from the throne. The Lord is saying, "I will confound the wisdom of the proud, but my people will know my voice in the silence." The more I looked, the more I understood that the announcement of this blackout is itself a test. Who will hear and act before the shadow falls? Who will dismiss it as mere imagination or conspiracy? Those who scoff at the warning will be swept away by it, but those who tremble at the word of the Lord will find themselves hidden under his wings. I could sense the heaviness of this moment. It is a call to obedience that will define destiny. God is not speaking in riddles here. He is giving a clear and urgent message. Prepare your home, prepare your heart, prepare your household. The prophetic announcement is not to entertain curiosity, but to ignite immediate action. The trumpet has been sounded, the messenger has been sent, and the command has been released into the earth. Even now, the shadow is closer than it appears, and the time to respond is shortening with each heartbeat. This word from the Lord is not for tomorrow, it is for now. The Spirit is impressing upon me that the blackout will not wait for man's convenience. It will arrive in God's appointed moment, and it will arrive without warning to those who have been sleeping. The prophetic announcement is your signal, chosen one. When heaven speaks this clearly, it is not an echo to ponder, it is a command to move. This darkness that is coming is not one-dimensional. It will come in layers, seen and unseen, felt in the body and in the soul. Physically, it will descend like a thick curtain over the land, shutting down the lights of cities, silencing the hum of machines, and bringing man's proud technology to a sudden halt. The streets will grow quiet. The skies will be void of their glow, and a heavy stillness will settle where once there was motion and noise. It will be a silence that forces every man to listen, whether he wants to or not. But there's another layer, far more dangerous, far more penetrating, the spiritual darkness. It will not just cover streets, it will try to invade hearts and minds. This darkness will whisper lies into the ears of the fearful. It will try to choke the flame of faith in those who are wavering. And it will press in like a suffocating weight upon the souls of the unprepared. This is the hour when Satan will attempt to take advantage of the stillness, sowing seeds of despair and confusion into those who have not anchored themselves in the Word of God. The Lord made it clear to me, this is not just the absence of light. It is the testing of what light truly remains in you. In the natural, you can light a candle and push back the darkness in a room. But in the spirit, only the oil of intimacy with God will keep your lamp burning when the night comes. Without that oil, even those who once had light will find their flame dwindling, their courage fading, their hope slipping into shadows. I saw in the spirit how this physical blackout will expose the spiritual condition of many. Those who have lived leaning on the light of others, the faith of a spouse, the prayers of a grandmother, the encouragement of a pastor, will suddenly realize they are standing alone in their own night. And in that moment, it will not be enough to have once known the light. They will need it burning within them. This is why God is calling now for personal readiness, not borrowed faith. The physical darkness will be a cloak over the nations, but the spiritual darkness will be a battlefield in the unseen realm. Angels will be on assignment, guarding the homes of the obedient, while demonic forces will roam, seeking open doors of fear and disobedience. This is why God has spoken with urgency, because when this darkness falls, it will not be a time to start seeking Him. It will be the time to stand on what has already been planted deep in your spirit. The Lord impressed on me that just as a seed cannot grow overnight, so the light of faith cannot be kindled instantly in the midnight hour. Those who have been walking daily with God will find themselves steady even in the blackout. But those who have postponed their obedience will scramble in confusion, looking for what they never prepared. The darkness will make the wise shine brighter, but it will also reveal the emptiness of the foolish. I could sense the seriousness of this warning. This is not to frighten, but to reveal the reality of what is coming. God's people must understand that this is a twofold event: the shutting down of the natural and the intensifying of the spiritual. The enemy will try to use it to crush faith, but God will use it to purify, separate, and strengthen those who belong to him. The question is not whether the darkness will come, it will. The question is what light will be in you when it arrives. I heard the Spirit of the Lord say with a voice like many waters, seal the doors and windows, cover every entrance, do not leave a gap for the destroyer to enter. This was not a suggestion, it was a command from heaven. Just as in the days of Moses, when the Israelites were told to mark their doorposts with the blood of the Lamb, so now God is calling his people to mark their homes, not with paint or wood, but with the living seal of his word and the covering of his presence. Physically, the instruction is clear. Shut your doors, close your windows, and make your home a refuge. Block the eyes and ears of your dwelling from the chaos outside. Do not allow the winds of fear to blow through your rooms or the cries of panic to reach your heart. Secure what is yours, for the Lord has given you authority over your household. As Noah shut the door of your ark before the flood came, so must you secure your own dwelling before the shadow arrives. Spiritually, this sealing is even more critical. Your doors are the gateways of your heart. Your windows are the places where your mind looks out and lets things in. God says, cover them with my promises, guard them with my truth. Let no word of doubt or spirit of fear slip past your threshold. In this hour, it is not just your home that must be sealed, it is your soul. You cannot afford to let your spiritual wall stand open to the enemy's whispers. I saw in the Spirit oil being poured along the edges of door frames, dripping down like fire. This is the anointing of the Lord. The mark of ownership that says, this house belongs to the Almighty. It is not superstition, it is obedience. Just as the blood on the door in Egypt caused the angel of death to pass over, so will the covering of God cause the forces of darkness to bypass your dwelling. This is not the time to take the instruction lightly. It is your lifeline in the hour of shaking. The Lord showed me that sealing the doors and windows is also about closing every access point of sin. Hidden disobedience, unrepented compromise, secret indulgence. These are cracks where the darkness will try to seep in. God is saying, patch the breaches, close the gaps. Do not leave room for the enemy to claim a foothold. The sealing is not just about protection from outside, it is about cleansing and fortifying from within. In the vision, I saw some homes that looked strong on the outside, but their windows were wide open. The people inside thought they were secure, but the voices of fear and temptation streamed in unhindered. Then I saw others whose doors and windows were shut tight, covered in scripture, filled with prayer and guarded by angels. There was peace in those homes, even as the streets outside were gripped with chaos. The difference was not in the building, it was in the obedience. This sealing is not a task for tomorrow, it is the assignment for now. The darkness will not wait for you to finish your preparations at your leisure. Once it descends, the moment for sealing will have passed. The Lord is calling his people to act now. Cover every entrance, speak his word over every threshold, and declare that no darkness will cross into your sanctuary. This is the moment to make your home a fortress of his presence. God's instruction is plain. Place it on the doors, place it on the windows, and let the enemy see that you are marked. The blood of Jesus is your covering. His promises are your barricade, and his angels are your guards. In this way, when the blackout comes, you will remain in the light. The outside world may be swallowed in darkness, but the inside of the sealed home will glow with the presence of the Lord, unshaken, untouchable, and untouched by the hand of destruction. I saw in the Spirit a line drawn by the hand of God, a clear separation between those who obeyed the warning and those who mocked it. On one side were homes wrapped in peace, their doors sealed, their windows guarded, and the light of God flickering inside like fire on the altar. On the other side were dwellings trembling in fear, wide open to the cold winds of chaos, the inhabitants unready for the darkness that had now overtaken them. The difference was not in the strength of the walls, but in the response to the word of the Lord. The obedient will walk in a supernatural calm. Even as the world outside groans under the weight of fear, they will be anchored in the promises they acted upon before the shadow came. Their oil lamps will not run dry because they filled them while there was still daylight. They will not be scrambling for faith at midnight because they build their faith in the morning hours of obedience. The voice of the Lord will be their compass, and his presence will be their shield. But the unprepared will face a very different reality. For them, the blackout will be more than the absence of light. It will be the exposure of neglect. They will remember the warnings, but regret will be their only companion. For they heard the trumpet, but did not move. The stillness will terrify them because they have no anchor in the silence. Panic will become their counsel, and despair will be their only guide through the night. The Lord showed me that this is not about luck, nor about chance. It is about obedience. In the days of Noah, the difference between the living and the drowned was not strength or cleverness, but the decision to enter the ark when the door was open. In the days of Moses, the difference between the firstborn who lived and those who died was the decision to mark the door with blood. And now, in this hour, the difference will be between those who seal their homes in faith and those who leave them exposed in unbelief. I saw angels moving like sentinels around the homes of the obedient, their swords drawn, their eyes like flames. They were stationed not because of wealth or status, but because of the seal of obedience. And I saw demons lurking at the edges of unprepared homes, drawn like vultures to open doors and unguarded windows. The darkness itself was not their weapon. It was the entry point. And where there was no covering, they came in without resistance. The obedient will hear the storm outside, but it will not touch them. They will see the shaking in the distance, but their hearts will be as steady as a rock. Their prayers will rise like incense. Their worship will be a fortress, and the presence of God will wrap them in invisible armor. They will not escape the night by their own strength, but by the shelter they entered when God told them to prepare. The unprepared, however, will discover too late that good intentions cannot replace obedience. Many will have meant to prepare, meant to seal their doors, meant to ready their hearts, but delay will have been their undoing. The darkness will not wait for their convenience. It will come like a flood, swift and relentless. And they will find themselves groping for light they never stored, crying for shelter they never sought. This is why the Lord has spoken so clearly, because the difference will be absolute. The obedient will experience his protection like the eye of a storm, while the unprepared will be swept away in the outer winds. This is the hour where every choice matters, every action counts, and every moment of delay carries eternal weight. The line is being drawn, and soon it will be visible to all. I saw in the Spirit a night unlike any other, still, heavy, and holy. Inside the sealed homes of the obedient, candles flickered against the darkness, their flames dancing like a declaration that the light of God could not be quenched. Outside, the streets lay silent under the weight of the blackout, as though the whole earth had stopped to listen. It was the midnight hour, the moment when faith is tested and trust in God becomes the only anchor for the soul. The Spirit whispered, "This is the Passover of the midnight hour." Just as the Israelites once huddled in their homes hearing the footsteps of the angel of death outside, so will my people gather close to my presence in this time. They will hear the sounds of the night, some distant, some near, but they will not be moved. The peace of God will be their fortress, and their prayers will be the incense that fills the courts of heaven. This will be the night when the obedient learn the weight of my covering. I saw fathers leading their families in worship, mothers speaking scriptures over their children, and believers lifting hands in silent surrender to the one who keeps them. The sound of praise rose softly from these homes, mingling with the silence until it became a shield. This is the posture of those who wait on the Lord, not pacing in fear, but resting in the knowledge that the dawn is coming. God's people will not survive this night by strength of walls, but by the strength of his word in their hearts. The Lord said, "Do not rush the night. I am doing a work in the darkness that will prepare you for the light." There is something sacred about this waiting, something that strips away all pretense and exposes what truly sustains you. It is the hour when distractions vanish, when noise is silenced, and when every heart is laid bare before the Creator. In this stillness, his whisper will be louder than the shouts of the enemy. I saw angels standing guard at the thresholds, their wings outstretched, their eyes fixed on the streets beyond. They were there not to prevent the darkness from coming, but to ensure it could not enter. The people inside could not see them, but they could feel the peace of their presence. This is the unseen reality of the midnight Passover. God's protection is not always visible, but it is always active. Some in the night will be tempted to peek outside, to lift the covering, to see what is happening in the streets. But the Lord warns, "Stay in the place I have told you. Do not open the door until I say it is time." The midnight Passover is not just about waiting. It is about trusting the timing of God. To step out too soon is to step into danger. To wait until he calls is to step into glory. The darkness outside will seem endless, but it is not eternal. There will come a moment when the first light will break the horizon and the covering will be lifted. The people of God will emerge, not as they entered, but refined, strengthened, and marked by his glory. The dawn will reveal the full measure of his protection, and the world will see the difference between those who waited in obedience and those who did not. And yet, in the deep of that midnight hour, the focus will not be on what is coming next, but on who is present now. The faithful will know that the same God who shut them in has also promised to bring them out. This is the essence of the midnight Passover: to abide under the shadow of the Almighty until the darkness has passed, and to rise when the Son of His glory signals a new day. I stand before you now, not with the words of man, but with the fire of God burning in my spirit. The warning has been sounded. The vision has been declared. The instructions have been given. The blackout is coming, and the line has been drawn. The Spirit of the Lord is moving over the earth, searching for those who will stand in obedience when the night descends. This is the hour to decide which side of the line you will be found on. Not in theory, not in dreams, but in action. I tell you, the day will come when the first crack of light will split the darkness. And when it does, every man's preparation will be revealed. Those who obeyed will rise with a radiance that cannot be explained by natural light. Their faces will shine with the glory of God. Their steps will carry the authority of those who walk through the night under His covering. And those who ignore the voice of the Lord will stand in the ashes of what they refused to prepare for, knowing they had the chance to act, but chose delay instead. The Spirit is saying, even now, I have not warned you for nothing. I have not spoken in vain. This is not a poetic word for your shelves. It is a divine alarm for your soul. You are hearing this because heaven has marked you to be among the preserved, among the secured, among the victorious when the dawn breaks. But the seal of that protection will not rest on casual faith. It will rest on surrendered obedience. I see the dawn on the horizon, but it is not yet here. I see the night pressing in, but it is not yet complete. This is the moment between the call and the storm, between the trumpet blast and the final lock of the door. It is the time when decisions are made, when destinies are sealed, when futures are forged in the heat of obedience. And the Spirit is asking, not with a whisper, but with the thunder of eternity, where will you stand? When the blackout ends, the world will not be the same. Nations will not be the same. Families will not be the same. And you will not be the same. Either you will walk out marked by the glory of the Lord, a living testimony of His faithfulness in the midnight hour, or you will emerge carrying the weight of missed moments and ignored warnings. The difference will not be in how much you knew, but in how much you obey. I can feel the urgency of heaven pressing against time itself, as though the Spirit is standing at the door, ready to close it. This is not the hour for divided hearts or double minds. This is the hour to slam the gates on compromise, to flood your home with the Word, to set your altar burning with worship, and to declare to the heavens and the earth, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. When the darkness lives, the sound that will rise from the earth will not be a timid murmur, it will be the roar of the delivered. Those who were sealed will not simply survive, they will rise in the power of the one who kept them. Their voices will carry the weight of midnight victories. Their testimonies will be the light that guides others to the shelter of the Most High. They will not just tell of the God who saved them, They will shine as proof of his covenant. But hear me now. Once the darkness lifts, it will be too late to change what you carried into it. The midnight hour will reveal whether you were anchored or adrift, sealed or exposed, ready or unprepared. And when the dawn comes, the evidence will be undeniable. The heavens will have recorded your stand, and the earth will bear witness to it. The question is already echoing in the chambers of eternity. What will the record say about you? The night is coming, the light is coming, the line is here. What you do now will echo when the sun rises again. And when that moment comes, your answer will not be in your words. It will be in the life you lived in the shadow of the Almighty.